Hey everybody, it's Chris from the Droning Company here today with Robert Cheek, COO of UVify. Now tell me, this is the backdrop, everything you've got going on, the drones with the lights on them, absolutely enamoring when I walk by. Very cool to look at. What does it all do? Explain it.
Well, thank you to start with. So we'll start with the Omega here. So you can see, well, it's not running there, but the Omega stands for Open Modular Environment for General Autonomy. So we're one of the few companies that develop completely open platforms so that you can create your application for autonomy on this platform.
Okay.
So what this has is an integrated OS LiDAR, an Intel NUC computer. We use the Ragent kinetic mesh, so you can operate in GPS-denied environments, mines, military installations, whatever. Oh, and also the D435. So really, again, it's what's in a name, right? So this is for you to develop your application. We just this is our first. We just unveiled this here at Xponential. So this is our newest product.
Okay.
This is the EFO-S.
Okay.
So this is a swarm research platform. Again, open platform used by the top global defense companies for their swarm research. You can see this in like the DARPA offset program. So like here where you see hundreds and thousands of them being flown. It's used by universities, by corporate research centers. But so again, we're one of the few companies that develop a completely open research platform.
Okay.
So there are other companies that have this, but they're closed systems.
Okay.
The third this is EFO.
Can we bring this over into frame a little bit? That'd be great. Yeah, let's bring that right over there. Okay, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so EFO, trying to be clever, identifiable flying object, obviously. This is the world's most successful swarm light show drone.
Okay.
So we control, I would say, 90% of the US market. So NFL, NBA, FIFA in Europe, but whomever, Avatar, Mario Brothers show, I could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's with this platform.
Okay.
And when you look at them on YouTube or whatever, you can zoom in and you're like, oh, I know this drone.
Okay.
So we have a saying, it's called See, Believe, because there's a lot of companies that are like, oh, well, we can do this and we can do that. Well, show me. So our slogan is See, Believe. Like, these are our clients. These are who uses our platform. Why? It's stable, it's trustworthy, and that's why we have 80% of the global market.
Absolutely, and there's the light show thing is one thing. I want to talk a little bit about that. But the other thing is swarm technology is useful for is there's a lot of different applications that some are a little controversial, but there are others that make more sense. Tell us a little bit about how a commercial industry might use swarm technology. I'm thinking like in mapping or something along those lines.
Right. So that's, from mapping. When you can. If you think about it in terms of time being your most valuable asset, so that's one of the reasons why swarm is so interesting. So you're going to send one drone or one helicopter, God forbid, or whatever out to do a job, when you can send 100, 1,000 of these, get it done, map, done, move on. So time. So what does it solve? It solves for time. Also solves for accuracy. You can look at something like search and rescue. Again, one helicopter or one guy with a drone doing this. Why not deploy 1,000? Cover the whole area, even with this. Other applications would be, you're lost in the woods, you've got no cell signal. You can put up a sign, it'll point, go that way, there's help. Or refugees, let's say between Europe and Africa, there are people, whatever your political stance, still human beings.
Yeah.
They need water, you put up a sign with drones, water over there, or between the US and Mexico border. So these are other applications we're seeing with swarm, and there's more and more evolving. Defense is probably the biggest, and entertainment, of course.
Of course. I remember, so I'm a Pennsylvania native,
Yep.
And when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, they celebrated with a big drone show similar to this. Was this one of the guys that was in the drone show?
That was Verge.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry.
No. But they don't do stuff like this to this level of complexity.
So what? Yeah, let's talk about it. What does this do that Verge can't?
Well, to start with, if you look at their designs, they're not 3D. They're not true three-dimensional. They don't go as fast. They don't fly as long. they're not as robust. The maximum they've flown is 400, maybe they're doing 600, we're doing 1,500, 2,000 all the time. So one of our partners in Canada, they come out of the airline industry, so they'd started different airlines, and one of the things they said was, in the airline industry, you want to keep your aircraft in the air. Otherwise, you're not making money.
Right.
So it's the same thing, and that's their thinking. We want these in the air all the time. So every other day, our partners, they're flying. So you can imagine they're generating a great return on their investment, and which is why they have portfolios. When a James Cameron or someone calls, can you do this? This is what's been done.
Yeah.
So success breeds success. What they're doing, they have a handful of companies that they've done and sports teams, but no Super Bowl.
Okay.
So they did the Eagles. Obviously, I'm like, well, why didn't we do that? But there's another story. But also, that's a much smaller scale.
Sure.
And, I mean, you can see for yourself, I welcome you to do the Pepsi Challenge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, one last question for you before we get to how people can learn more about your company. Yep. The question I have is, in terms of the projection, sort of a fun question. How long before something like this replaces fireworks altogether?
It's already happening. So many of our bigger partners, they are in the pyrotechnics business or they're leaving the pyrotechnics business. So pyrotechnics is dying for a couple of reasons. Like in California, totally illegal. No more pyro.
Yeah.
It's bad for wildlife. It scares animals. You know, when you've got explosions going off, it scares dogs and cats, domestic pets. It's a fire hazard. And there's the political element. All the stuff comes from China. So there's several, and you know, our stuff is not Chinese, so that's why it can fly over London, New York City, places like this. So how long? It's already replacing pyro. So that's already happening. And those companies are migrating to this solution. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, all right, last question.
Yep.
Where can people find out more about you, your company, and the products you sell?
Yeah, www.UVify.com. And Robert Sheik, Rob the Robot Guy, LinkedIn, you can contact me or, yeah.
Excellent. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
You.
This has been great.